We are ready. There's Dale. You're so fast.
Okay, let's see here. Hang on, Angela, I don't hear you yet.
Okay, no problem.
Give me just a moment. Maybe this. Okay, could you
Absolutely.
say something?
Yeah,
Great. It
can
looks
you hear
like I
me
can't
now?
do the mic and yeah, it looks like I can't do my fancy mic. I've just got to do either the earbuds or the mic, so not both.
Yeah, I hear you fine, and that's what everybody's coming for, so we're good. I'll just sit here
Yeah.
and just let you talk about your awesomeness. I don't know if you saw the title, but I have now renamed you Awesome Dale. Sorry.
Awesome. Hey, it makes me think of that show, Tim and Eric, great show. Or Tim and Eric, awesome show, great job. That was the
Yeah.
name of it. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. This is one of those days, man. I tell you, I had about 4.5 hours sleep. I tried to squeeze in a nap before I came on here. It was one of those instances I'm working late on the Kickstarter thing, and I get up to promote the Kickstarter thing.
Yeah.
It never ends.
Yeah. Well, so I'm going to just start out. Congratulations. That's pretty awesome. You funded in 54 minutes, which is pretty amazing and outstanding. But well funded. This was not like an eking, oh, look, we're $1 over. You well funded. It's like double now.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Actually, I think we've gone on to tripled. Give me just a second. I will check right now. And by the way, this is not a flex. There's probably going to be some people like, oh, look at him. He's getting ready to sell a course. I'm not. I'm not. And actually, the nice thing is, though, Angela, is I've been working with the team at the Influence. Influence does project management and such. And really, they've handled a lot of like the heavy lifting. So
yeah.
I'm just like, I have to show up and do all the promotional type things. But yeah, right now as it stands, we have 51 backers at $13,714. We're at 274% fully funded. And we've got some stuff that's in the works for the next stretch goals. Going to be pretty incredible. So I haven't had a chance to talk with the team just yet, but I know that we have like a pecking order. If we hit a certain one, it's going to get progressively bigger. I will tell you that the biggest one makes me almost nervous, like slightly throwing up nervous. Like it. So
Really?
yeah, it's good, but it's one of those instances of like that's when I'm just going to have to just lock me up in my office. I got some stuff to do.
I got you. I got you. Well, Tanesha says amazing. She's giving you a lot of party hats. Yeah, amazing is definitely, but I mean, that's because I love you, right? I am a huge fan of yours. I'm a huge
Oh, yeah.
fan of yours before we actually started even talking together. I'm going to say it's because you're awesome.
Shucks, thanks. I appreciate that. It's the funny thing is when you're building a project like this, there's so much. And by the way, if anybody's ever interested, you're watching right now, dalelinks.com/Kickstarter, or actually go through Angela's link, which will be dalelinks.com/final3. Either one, you're going to still land on the same page. I just want to make sure Angela gets credited for sending people over there. But when you're building something like this, I started working with the Influence team back in May, but prior to that, I'd already been writing these books. So I was already planning this Kickstarter to close things out.
Yeah.
This has always been on the roadmap. I just didn't know that it was going to be the final 3 that was going to be part of it. It just made sense to me because those books are ones that I had wrote back in 2020. So much had changed that significantly so much. I thought I was just going to do light rewrites and maybe some updates and things. No, I just got through it and I was just like, oh my gosh, my writing has improved that immensely in the last 5 years that I just, I was pulling my eyebrows out. I was like, no, what is this garbage? It was a good book, but I feel like there was so many areas that I could have been a lot more clear in and I could expand upon. And so, yeah, working on that over the last year now, and then coming into this here, there's a lot of silence. You're not getting that instantaneous feedback of going and publishing a book and be like, hey, people are buying. That means my launch was successful. Kickstarter's so much different. There's a lot more runway. There's a lot less unpredictability to it. Not to mention, I mean, I've got the consult fees I got to cover for the project management team. I've also pre-ordered tip-ins, which those that are familiar with tip-ins, they're essentially you get a big stock of like sheets, like they're not cut yet. And I'll have like a graphic on one side, you autograph it, and then it gets slipped into each one of the books when they get shipped out. Then that way, all of my autograph's going to be on all those. So I had to pay for those, and that right there put me in the hole significantly. So it's coming, and I was already kind of nervous because I was like, okay, and I never want to kind of sit here and think to myself, like, do you know who I am? No, I'm not that way. And I don't think I'll ever be that way because I feel
Yeah.
very fortunate the position in which I am. So you've got all this invested. You're going and leading things up to it. You've got many sleepless nights worrying about it. And then it came to like Monday night and I could not relax. I could not
Yeah.
relax. I meditated 3 times that day, like for half hour apiece. That's an hour and a half of meditation. You'd think I'd be all good, but it was almost like I just come undone. I was up
Yeah.
till easily 3:30 a.m. and I get up right around, I don't know, it was about 8:30, 9 o'clock in order to do the launch party thing. And I had very little sleep. So my biggest issue is, and I think this might be the inner kid that comes out in me. I wasn't a very popular kid in school. I had parties, but guess how many people showed up to my parties? One, my brother. That was typically it. And so I think there's sometimes just that you had that fear that lingers. And, fear is almost always anchored and rooted in previous experience. And so this was an
Yeah.
instance for me that I'm trying to think of this as my childhood again, and no one's going to show up for my party. Well, lo and behold, quite a few people have showed up to the party. And even if some of them aren't actively participating in the party, they're still appreciative and they're still kind of getting behind it. But I don't know if you caught that replay, but it literally, we go live on Tuesday. It launches at 10:15. Literally, I go live. I'm like, it's live, and everybody's just like, oh, well,
Yeah.
okay, let's go. And so there was a couple sales here and there, and that's great. I every dollar is a dollar I appreciate. And so I'm like kind of going along. We're having this conversation, kind of like what you and I are, except it was a little more solitary since I didn't have a co-host. But everybody's watching the live video, and I've got this, real time ticker here on the Kickstarter campaign, and boom, I'm like, oh, what just happened? And my brain just kind of was like, it broke for a second. It literally broke, and I think that all of a sudden I realized, I'm like, okay, your monkey mind was getting in the way. You're thinking you
Yeah.
don't deserve this, or no one's going to show up to the party. And then it was almost like someone went over and whispered in my ear. They're like, hey, it's actually going to turn out really good. Just wait. And so I'm like, oh, you see me kind of get knocked off, and then it exceeds. Stop. Full stop. I like, and I had to fight like tears coming
Oh my
coming out.
goodness.
I'm like,
Yeah.
don't do this now. Don't do this now.
Yeah, but that's the authenticity part. And I imagine those tears are from that, because I was also an unpopular kid. I was usually the kid running from all the other kids because they were going to beat me up because I was so unpopular. This is why I wound up doing martial arts later to a point. But so when that happens, when I do have success now, it is like, I want to cry. There's a gratitude there of like, you're not going to beat me up. You actually like me.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably part of that, probably in the same way.
Isn't it funny, the stories that we'll tell ourselves, and this is not just authors, it's just human beings in general, where we'll have these things, made up in our mind, like people aren't going to show, people aren't going to be supportive. And I'm super fortunate, and I will be straight up honest with you. I've had so many of my friends who have tried Kickstarters and failed miserably, and I always feel bad for them. So maybe that was also just seeing their experience and projecting that upon myself, where I'm like, oh, if my buddy wasn't able to do it, how can I do it? But I've got an advantage over what a lot of authors don't have, and that's a huge, massive network, not to mention a really great and supportive community. And this community extends all around YouTube as well as going into Discord. So, I mean, yeah, I guess I probably shouldn't have ever been surprised by it, but I still will continue. It was a funny story I saw more recently in the tributes rolling out to Ozzy Osbourne. And there were so many musicians with beautiful stories. And one of those was Henry Rollins. And Henry Rollins had opened for him in a show, might have been over somewhere in England, I think. Any rate, Ozzy is the headliner. Henry Rollins is opening the show. Henry goes out there to pretty much just like an unengaged audience. Like, they're waiting for Ozzy. They're ready to do this thing. So he wraps up his show. He gets out. Henry just heads back. He wants to find a nice little like lookout location so he can watch Ozzy's show. He runs into Ozzy, and Ozzy says to him, This is like a sold out arena of like 20,000 people. And he's just like, is there anybody out there? And Henry's like, what do you mean? There's like 20,000 people out there. Are you kidding me? And at this particular time, Sharon comes along, is like, Ozzy, you're on. And so he just boom, bolts it straight out. And he says, Henry said he hears just the entire building shake of the roar of approval of Ozzy coming in. And it's not to say that I'm Ozzy Osbourne level of success or fame, but it's that same kind of, I think, mentality. And I don't think it was a joke either. He was being 100% serious. Like, is there anybody out there? There is still some people out there at that level that still question, am I worthy? Am I deserving and such? And so it's cool to see that someone of that stature still thought of his art that way. Like, are you kidding me? Someone could announce a porta potty in the last minute and there's going to probably be 5,000 people surrounding it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. But I think that's honestly good. I think that's what keeps us in that spot where, because I would rather be in that place than think I'm so great and then nobody shows up. Because then you also are, and we all know those kind of people, like the artists that's, they expect and then they're constantly disappointed. I think that it's better to be in the imposter zone where you're grateful and happy when it does happen. And then you're not crushed when it doesn't, because you're like, well, that's not why I came here. It's awesome. You're going to put those books out no matter what, even if it was crickets. Those books are coming out. Everything is happening. That's not the point of it, but it is awfully nice when it does happen, and well deserved.
Yeah. But there's so much that went into this project, not just those 3 books. It was getting a lot of the swag and the merch, the workbook. Oh my gosh, that's been a chore. But thankfully, I've got an incredible graphic design artist that works directly with me on a lot of my stuff for like my YouTube channel. He does like my fancy YouTube thumbnails. He's the one who's been helping me out with the workbook, and it looks incredible. It's coming together incredible. I'm just not a big fan of workbooks. So I said, okay, what would be the workbook I would be excited about? Because if I can be excited about it, I know everybody else is going to be excited about it. Because you put a workbook in my hands, I'm like, get out of here. So I think that this is going to be a lot of fun, and hopefully a lot of the authors will enjoy it too. I have no doubt they will, because we've put a lot of time and effort into it. So
yeah. Well, I've been following you this whole time, this whole arc. Well, I followed you before you started doing this. And I love how you've put it together, you're just so strategic, which is what I'm always in awe of, because I feel like I'm anti-strategic. I'm usually kind of going, oh, you know what I just found hidden in my Google Drive? Let's publish it next week, So
I wish that happened for me. All I've got inside my Google Drive are a bunch of partially started works in progress.
Oh, I just did a bunch of rewrites because somebody asked me, do you have any stories? I was like, oh, yeah, I've actually got this pile here. You want those? It's like 20 of them. And they're like, yes. I'm like, okay, I better look at them, though, because they were written like a decade ago. And some things have changed. So that's what I was doing, re-edits. But it has just been really awesome. You inspire me to think strategically. I'm actually doing a Kickstarter right now that is floundering because I don't know what I'm doing. And I'm going to be hitting you up.
Because you didn't tell me. That's why, Angela.
Oh, well, that's because that non-strategic thing, I did it like last week. It's for a book that I'm co-editing with somebody, and she's probably going to kill me because she is also very strategic and organized. And I'm kind of like, oh yeah, well, everything will just fall out like
what's this button do? Let me see here. And
yeah, pretty much that's what it was. I was like, well, I did one Kickstarter before. You will see what happens. But I am going to find out from you, the company that you're talking about, Ink.
Yes, I'm like the influence. So think like influence, but ink, and the is in front of it, because there's like an influence company, but I don't think they have anything to do with our business. So the influence, and actually a personal friend of mine, Dana Claire, is the founder of that. I specifically had been talking with her over the last year or so about doing this. She wasn't the first choice. I was trying to be cheap about it initially, and Shannon S.D. Houston was going to help me launch, which she's already successfully launched and funded 2 Kickstarter campaigns. And so I knew it was going to be great, but also I love Shannon, and I don't want to abuse that relationship. And I knew that with the size this project was going to be, me cheaping out didn't make sense. So that's why I was like, I invested in the influence, because one, I sat down, had a real conversation with Dana, and Dana was just like, she was bubbling with joy. She said, "Oh my God, you're going to do Kickstarter? Absolutely. You got to come over. We're going to do, oh, there's so much stuff we're going to do." And it was really cool because when the onboarding came on, it wasn't just a simple thing of, okay, what do you want to do? It was, okay, what are we going to accomplish? Where are we going to? What's the deal with this? And as soon as I could kind of fill in some of those blanks for them, they were able to ask me the right questions and pull out the right answers. So that way this campaign would go perfectly. As we were kind of, here's a great example, as we're talking about like swag we wanted to add to things. So for instance, I got like a light up thumb drive. I've got the stickers. I've got a mouse pad, things like that. I threw out some pretty dumb ideas. At one point, I was like, we should do some plush dolls, like a little banana Bob or even a miniature Dale. And they were like, oh, well, will your audience like it though? And I'm like, because they were like, it's tough to get those types of things kind of done, and it would end up being expensive. So if I was on my own, left to my own devices, I probably would have made some really terrible decisions. Thankfully, I was able to have them as a filter, and they were able to kind of go, yeah, we like this idea, or yeah, we like this idea. When I was working on the workbook initially, I was all game for adding this to all tiers. Like if someone backed it up and they were like, Dale, this workbook's incredible. They're like, and you've never done it anywhere else before. I'm like, no. And they were like, no. You don't just give that away for free. And I'm like, oh okay. Again, no experience there. I'm a bull in a china shop, and I'm kind of like you, where I'm like, what does this button do? And that's why the influence was a bit of a filter. And by the way, they're not paying me to say any of this, and neither Angela at all, which I'd love to introduce you to Dana Claire. If you ever get a chance to meet her, fantastic author, sweetheart of a gal. She's a great interview because all you got to do is ask her like 2 questions and you're done like 2 hours later.
Oh, nice. Okay. Yeah. So bye.
My favorite type of guest.
Now.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, yeah, personally, I'm just going to say I would love a Dale plushie.
A Dale, yeah. There's going to be some people, like maybe my mom would probably appreciate a Dale plushie. Maybe somewhere down the line. There was actually initially one that was on the docket, and this actually was originally came with the idea was I'd already developed a rough idea of a new card game I was putting together, and I was going to probably put it as part of the Kickstarter campaign, and it was going to be about authorship. And think like it's going to be like Monopoly with playing cards, but you could choose the path in which you would want to go in, whether that's trad pub or self-published. And then in order to get an asset out into the market, you have to go through each of the steps. So, trad pub would be, finishing your manuscript, getting it edited, querying agents, so on and so forth. And then if it was for indie pub, you would have to go through what we would normally have to do. And you have to collect all the cards. And as soon as you get all the cards, you win. And they were like, we love that idea. Don't do it now, though.
That's hilarious.
They're like, that could stand on its own. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I've already had a conversation with my graphics guy, and he was like, absolutely. He's like, he'll be able to whip together the graphics, and it will also stay on brand with what I currently do. So that way, when people look at the cards, they'll think self-publishing with Dale, one of those instances.
Oh my goodness. Awesome. Well, I have to talk to you afterwards because there is something going on in my background right now that is very similarly aligned.
Really? Nice.
Yeah. We're working with a guy that does make card games. And so we've been working on something for authors, putting it together, and he does all the rules and all that kind of thing, but not necessarily the rest of it. So that's interesting because when you're playing, that's how you learn, and that's my thing is you can learn. And there's so many things to learn in this. It seems like and this is when I'm coaching the person that comes up and they're like, I want to publish a book. Oh my God, where do I start? And it's like, even just with the editing, what comes first? Developmental editing or line editing? Just these little things. And then you get into promotion and marketing and like the publishing thing and where are you going to publish it and wide or not. And so that's why I think a game is such a great idea. So
yeah. I figured it would be a better way for people to kind of understand because oftentimes I think people will step into this business with the belief of that field of dreams thing. You hear often people will say, if I build it, they will come. And unfortunately, that's just not true. And especially in the digital age, it's not like anybody's going to be able to stumble over your digital works. You're going to need to be actively out there marketing, promoting, so on and so forth. But I'm preaching to the choir here. It's That's why I was like, and to be honest with you, it was one of those cases that when we were looking at Kickstarters, I saw just a proliferation of many successfully funded projects that are games, and I thought, oh, we could do this. Now, with the fact that we will have a Kickstarter campaign behind us, probably going into 2026, it'll probably be more of a feasible idea. But I'll be honest with you right now, I am so not thinking about another Kickstarter. This reminds me of like when Ryan Reynolds was doing, all the press junkets for Deadpool and Wolverine. And they were like, so when's the next Deadpool? And he's like, well, come on now. I just finished this one.
Yeah. Well, wait a second. Is this your first Kickstarter then?
This is my very first one. Yep. Never done one before.
Holy crap is my response to that. I cannot believe that.
It would be silly for me to continue to publish my nonfiction books onto Amazon directly, because the problem is they don't bring enough to the relationship to make me say, okay, I'll sacrifice this much in earnings. Amazon's got enough money. I would rather support a small business like the Inkfluence or Laguna Studios, which is fulfilling all of my Kickstarter stuff. I would rather that money go to them and stay internally here than to go to Amazon or to go to any of these other large companies. They've gotten enough of my money, and I hope that all authors take a little bit of a cue here from this, is don't become so over-reliant on any one platform, whether that's Amazon, KDP, Ingram Spark. Yes, I can give you the worst case scenario, and a lot of people say, hey, look, those are outliers, and that's true. There's way less people getting their accounts terminated than what you think, but it's enough to say, okay, this is playing with fire. You can get deplatformed without any say in it. And I've known so many people. I even had a really good friend of mine who got his entire business upended. And here's the funny thing is, years later, they reinstated his account out of blue after literally gutting his business by terminating terminating him from there. And they never gave him a reason why. So, but at any rate, I try to just encourage people is definitely go for wide publishing. But when you feel like you're at that point that you can step out, you have enough of a following or enough influence, bring it here, bring it home, make it community, make this is why this Kickstarter is so important to me. I'm not having this giant conglomerate, this freaking, juggernaut in Amazon behind this. You guys are. And that to me means the world. Yeah, people will say, well, Kickstarter is going to take their fees. Yes, absolutely. But nonetheless, though, this is a great in this direct relationship. And even if you're not going to try to do Kickstarter, there's a number of other ways you could do it. So, for instance, I seen Monica Leonel, great author, by the way. She talks a lot about self-publishing and such. She was doing a recent release on a platform called Curios, CURIOS.com. And apparently she gets 100% of all the earnings that come through that. I thought that was kind of cool, big commendable thing.
Yeah.
Hope I can meet Monica one of these days. Been a fan of her stuff. But I don't know where I was going. I'm sorry. This is what happens when you put two squirrels into a room. They chase after things.
Yeah, well, Curios, that's on Author Nation. I'm not coming to Author Nation physically, but I did sign up for the virtual Author Nation. Super excited. And I saw that they had a whole thing on Curios and Kickstarter, by the way. So I was like, yeah, I definitely need to know about Kickstarter.
I see Kickstarter's there, and I owe them a drink. Yeah, I owe them a drink because I'll end up meeting up with them. I actually ended up getting the badge of Project We Love. And that is almost like a stamp of approval from Kickstarter. And what they do is they'll share out and about. And actually, I've had a fair amount of sales through Kickstarter, just through that. Yeah. So like there are some instances that people are discovering this Kickstarter campaign that have probably never even heard of me. And I'm so glad that I framed it in a way of like not assuming everybody knows who I am. Because granted, I've had 7 million views across 2 channels and 100-some thousand, but I'm also of the belief that I've been around huge mega influencers, people that have 6.5 million subscribers, and I will mention about this person to somebody else, and they'll go, "I don't know who the heck that is." I'm like, "Yeah, it's got 6.5 million subscribers. You have to be one of them."
Yeah, that's all the people in the world, just about.
Right? Exactly.
Maybe you're subscribed, you just don't know it.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. I think I do that a lot.
Yeah, I just had to do a cleanup because I was like, I'm getting way too many emails. I need to get rid of some of these. But I'm going to take advantage of this because you're here. And my theme for October, which by the way, happy October, is about imposter syndromes. But it's about, and I don't even like to say syndrome. I say shadow because syndrome implies that we're stuck with it. And I feel like it's a tool that we use because for me, when you feel that feeling of imposter, it means you're doing something that casts a shadow. You are shining. Something is going great, or there'd be no reason for you to be worried about it. So I look at it as a good thing. When I have that self-doubt, I always think, okay, I'm onto something. Let's go forward. Because the worst case, if we actually bring it out, as worst case is nobody buys the book or nobody, you fund in 30 days instead of 54 minutes or, whatever, or
Yeah.
or we don't fund at all, and then you try again. Like we fail all the time. And then, so why are we so afraid when we succeed? Like when we are succeeding. So that is my theme for October. And I want to hear all about your imposter because I know
Ooh,
you
man,
have one.
I feel almost like we started out with the imposter syndrome, just talking about that of,
Yeah.
being surrounded in your own thoughts, marinating in just this negative
Mm-hmm.
brew that you've concocted on your own. And yeah, we led with that type of thing. And imposter syndrome, imposter shadow, whatever you want to say, I do feel it. I do feel it. And I think that again, it does come back to probably childhood traumas and
Yeah.
things like that, that I'm reacting in an irrational way because of something that happened previously. And so that's why I always have to take inventory of how I feel about something before I jump into it, because sometimes my natural reaction is to get aggressive. Like, oh! But there's instances. So yeah, I mean, imposter syndrome happens a lot, especially when it comes to YouTube, because there's instances where I'll be working on a piece and I'll publish it and I go, oh, like, no, somebody else said it better, or, or, that could have, I sound like an idiot, things like that. It does come across my mind, but I think over the past, I would say, couple of years, I have certain mental, like, things that I'll have to walk through of, is
Yeah.
there immediate danger? Is someone going to die? Is this a rational thought or is this an irrational thought? Why am I feeling this way? So I'll go through that inventory. And it's typically like, it'll take me a minute and I'll just wrap my head around it and I'll go, everything's fine. Keep pushing forward. And so
Yeah.
that's my biggest thing is I don't try to get swallowed by my own shadow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to cast a shadow, but it's not my business to understand where that shadow is going to land. I need to just focus on going forward. It's tough because having ADHD, not many people will realize that sometimes they go, "Oh, ADHD is a terrible thing." It is a great thing. I feel like it's a double-edged sword though sometimes. And if you're not wielding
Mhm.
that sword properly, you can cut yourself. And so
Oh,
there are
yeah.
instances where I might stumble or I fall behind on some projects, and for some reason, that's when I start feeling those negative thoughts. It starts to come into that monkey mind. You don't deserve. You're not
Yeah.
worthy. Things like that. So I'm able to kind of shut those types of things down. And I'm sure everybody has their own way of dealing with those types of things. I had an interview once, and it was so funny. Older gentleman, he had me on his podcast, and he wanted to give me life lessons. Like, you'll never make for a good politician. I'm like, oh, well, first of all, one, I don't plan on being a politician. I'm just not cut from that cloth.
Thank you.
And I'm like, and for two, like, this is who I am, warts and all. I am a highly emotional creature. You know, I have issues like everybody else does, but it's just trying to cope with those things and make the best that I can of the situation.
Yeah. Well, and I actually think that's your strength. That's one thing that I'm attracted. Well, that sounds weird to say I'm attracted to you, but you know what I mean? As a fellow, yeah, we're good.
There
But
was no awkwardness here. It was all on your end. It was all on your end. I followed you.
yeah. But one of the things that I think was so great about you is I always feel that authenticity. Um, and you can smell that. Like when you're watching somebody, you understand when they're faking it. And I think especially with all the AI and everything, AI is a great tool, but we're able to see the fraudulentness. And I have never come across that with you. You are always giving exactly who you are, which I think is great. And I think that's what we're craving more than ever now is we all recognize that we're not perfect. And we don't have to be. That's the thing. We don't have to be perfect. There is no standard. There's an artificial standard we're given that we should be. But I think people more and more are starting to realize, no, this is what you get,
Imperfections really provide the most beauty in everything in life.
Yeah.
Try to embrace that imperfection and understand, like, hey, you're good as you are. This is something that I have discovered being on video camera. Gosh, let's see here. Like, my main channel just hit over 1,000 videos, by the way. 9.5 years, 1,000 videos. By the way, I purged 200 like years ago. So this means that I've had thousands of videos. The other channel on the podcast channel, I think I'm up like 600 or 700 videos. But if you were to go back and watch any of those old videos, you could see a person that wasn't 100% comfortable on camera. I was trying to be someone, be a character, and trying to just, and I think, and the funny thing is it almost becomes comic because I I'm a former pro wrestler, as you know this, right? Okay, so I'm a former pro wrestler. So every now and then when I'm putting something on, it almost becomes like this aggressive edge that I used to have as a pro wrestler, where I'm just, as I'm delivering things, it's almost like I'm getting ready to, tell people where over at the National Guard Armory up in Chillicothe, Ohio, you know what's going to happen to you? Like no. So yeah, it's funny if you go back to those old videos, and you'll see some of them where it's just like Dale's putting on another version of Dale. Whereas nowadays, what you see is what you get. Even the scripted stuff, I make sure that whatever I'm writing and scripting into my video, it stays uniquely me. That way I can be able to, verbally share that. And one of the beauties of doing so much video, so much for so long, is I'll have a script sometimes, but every now and then I'll put the old pause on that thing and I just go ahead and let her rip. And I'm like, yeah, let's go ahead and just improv. And you can usually tell because I'll say quirky things and you'd be like, did he just say that? Yeah, I did. Did I intentionally say it? Probably not. Sometimes a mouth gets me in trouble. Ask my wife.
Yeah, well, that's why I was just apologizing. I mean, attracted in a, different way. Like, cool way.
Right, exactly. You knew what you meant. And the funny thing is, I knew what you meant as well. I would never think that by any stretch. But yeah, so.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, what have you got going from here? Because this Kickstarter is blown out of the water. We're going to keep promoting it. By the way, I have not. This is how fast this happened. I usually am the slow one to the party. Like, I always arrive a little bit late. And I was like, oh, Dale's Kickstarter went on. All right, I'm going to get over there and support it. Oh, it's funded. Whoa, okay. Did I miss it? Was that last month? What just happened? So I imagine there's a bunch of us out there kind of going, oh, what? Yeah, I need to get over there. Is there anything left at the party?
So that reaction you gave, that's the very reaction you see in the live video when I launched it, where I was like, oh. It's almost like it just takes you back. You're like, did I miss something?
What just happened here? Which is great. That is a great thing to have happen. Those are the surprises I like to have happen.
It's so funny because I've had some friends, even those that are outside the business. A good friend of mine, Sammy Callahan, he's a pro wrestler. Actually, he just retired. Sammy, he doesn't quite fully understand the business, but he saw I got fully funded, and I told him back on Monday he's got a show he's hosting here in Dayton. He was like, "Hey, you gonna come to the show?" And I was just like, "Okay, if I fully fund, I'll be over there." Yeah, I made a liar of myself. I was like, I looked at all the work I had to do. I was like, bro, I'm sorry, I still have a lot of work yet to do, and he was still understanding of that. But as far as what I'm going to do beyond this Kickstarter here, I'm really, really pushing hard. I would be remiss to say that I do have my own internal goals and milestones I'm setting out for, but I do have a very big, ambitious goal of $100,000. I know that's a lot. We've barely scratched the surface, but I do have a very, very, very big surprise. If we hit all of the stretch goals up to 100 grand, the stretch goal at 100 grand is going to blow everybody away. That's going to be one of those ones where some people are going to go, "Oh my Lord, what are we getting?" Yeah, we went all in. So as as far as what happens, we'll end up fulfilling the all the stuff. It should be fulfilled completely by March is what we're shooting for, barring any type of issues with getting the shipments in a timely fashion. But we should be okay, hopefully delivering a lot sooner. As soon as this is all pretty much done, though, I mean, I've got a fulfillment team managing all of that. So really at this point, I only need to worry about managing the group coaching and the one-on-one coaching and getting that stuff all booked up. And then my pivot to fiction. I'll officially be there. It's so funny. I have some people that were like thinking like my work is ready. I have a half a season of a serial fiction that I'd put over on Kindle Vella back in 2022. Yeah, now I've got it hosted over on laterpress.com. And that's going to be the very first thing is finishing up that. I have 18 episodes still left to do. I've already have everything mapped out. Like every episode's outlined. I have 2 of the episodes I remember that just needed a final edit on them. I just did. It was a perfect stopping point halfway through the season, and it almost finishes on a cliffhanger of sorts. And I'm like, okay, this is great. So once that's done, I'm gonna see about finishing up that series. That's going to end up being my lead magnet. So I'm going to build an email list with this giant serial fiction thing, and after that, trying to build about 1,000 to 10,000 email subscribers before I launch my first novel. Right now, tentatively, I feel like it's going to be the sci-fi horror idea that I had, tentatively called the Memory Tree, where it's going to take place in a dementia care unit at a senior living community, where they get these genetically engineered plants, these trees that essentially give back seniors some of their memories. But the problem is people start getting weird memories implanted into their brain, and someone's a serial killer, they realize. So,
oh, awesome.
Yeah, gonna be a fun one. So yeah, that's my first big project, is working on a novel. I've never written a novel before, so that's why I say it's going to be deep into 2026 for sure before I go ahead and do that.
Awesome. Well, you know me. I am a pre-fan of this. I support you. Count on me for ads in the space and time or wherever you need it. I will be there standing in line, possibly 5 minutes late, as we just saw with your Kickstarter, but I will be there.
Yeah. You know what? It's not 5 minutes late. It's you're a rock star. You show up whenever you want.
Yeah, there we go. See, somebody just quoted a poet, and they were quoting Gandalf, but they said a poet arrives exactly what a poet means to arrive, or whatever that thing was. I was like, oh yeah, I should learn that quote. That would be good for me.
A funny story. I'll get you a good story here. So this is a pro wrestling story for you. This was back in 2009. Yeah, 2009, because it was shortly after my injury, but I was already kind of getting recovered, and I was taking a road trip. A couple of my friends, and one of them was pro wrestler. He's on AEW now. His name's John Moxley. He went by Dean Ambrose in WWE. But Mox, good friend, we trained together down in Heartland Wrestling Association, and I got us late. He was booked on the show. We pull in, it's about a half hour late. And I was like, and I'm profusely apologizing. Hey man, I'm so sorry. He's like, what are you talking about, man? We're rock stars. We show up whenever we want. And I was just like, attaboy, Mox. And literally, no one was going to give him any type of shit. Oh, my apologies if you're one. No one's going to give him any crap. There we go. And we came in late, but I'll be darned, he did not get any trouble for it because he was a rock star, and he proved it.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. I love that. I don't know what else to say. I need to go support your Kickstarter. I'm super excited about that. Find out. Do you want to tell us about some of those prizes real quick?
Yes. Let me bust this out, because I will tell you, I forget all of it sometimes. Like literally my brain goes, what am I doing? What do you mean? What are you doing, Dale? Of course you know.
There's some stuff. That's usually my answer.
Right? There's some stuff for sure.
The link.
Yeah, if you go to dalelinks.com/final3, you'll be able to see a little bit more of the details. But I'll go ahead and give a quick rundown just in case anybody hasn't been familiar with me. I've been in the business for, over 11 years now, which is crazy to kind of think about. I've been a self-published author, but I've also been very active in the YouTube space where I teach people how to self-publish books. And that's what leads us to this Kickstarter. So let me just rattle through the digital work. Well, first of all, the whole thing is surrounding the final 3 books in a 12-part series. Now, what's so special about these final 3 books is that they're second editions to first editions I had launched back 5 years ago in a series called the Amazon Self-Publisher. And because things change very quickly in this business, a lot of the stuff needed a major overhaul. So I went through, rewrote all 3 of these books, and they are bigger, better, badder than ever. Bad like as in good, not like as in bad. Hopefully it's not bad. There's the imposter syndrome again. The workbook is going to cover all 12 books. So if you've already purchased any of my books over on any of the different platforms, don't worry. You don't need to go over and buy the books again. If you want to, please knock yourself out because you can get the entire 12-book ebook bundle. You can also just get the final 3 by themselves. If you want to get the hardcover edition, which, by the way, it's nothing but hardcover with gold foiling, braid edges, and now, because we met a stretch goal, we have a ribbon bookmark that we're able to do. And right now we're voting on that, and it's going to be of 3 colors. Everybody's voting for orange. It feels natural. And by the way, do you want to see what a gold foil cover looks like?
Yes.
Okay, so this is just an example, and this is not the exact book that's going to be part of the campaign, because this is a paperback book. Now, this was done by the folks over at Book Vault, and it's going to look like this. You see, kind of has that like look to it. And then, of course, if we just turn it like here, you'll start to see the sprayed edges. It's unfortunately, you can't see the depth of detail in here. So it's got all like the little doodads in the background. So, yeah, it's going to be full hardcover. It's not going to be available anywhere else. Like you won't get it but this Kickstarter. I won't get it anywhere but this Kickstarter campaign, like straight up. So I'm glad we're running this because I want one of those in hardcover and gold foiled and sprayed edges, and now a ribbon. And it looks like it's going to be an orange ribbon. Let's see here. Other things that we have involved. Of course, if you want to get hardcover of all 12 books, you can do that. We also have brand specific stickers. We have a refrigerator magnet with the indie author oath on there. We have the bestseller book launch plan, not only on a gold foiled bookmark, but we also have it on a mouse pad. So that way, next time you go launch your book, all you got to do is just look down below your mouse. Boom, you're ready to rock and roll. Oh, wait a second. You don't have the mouse pad, but you got the bookmark right here. I'm going to go ahead and think, oh, this is so nice. I'm going to read this one of these times. And let's see here. A journal. I'm a huge journal. Actually, I threw my journal when you and I were talking. It's back here somewhere. I'm going to have to search it out because I do a lot of notes. Anytime I'm talking in interviews, I'll have that. It's going to have that on there. We're going to have a light up flash drive. Now, I'm going to give an exclusive here on Authortunities. All right. I have not shared this anywhere else, probably with a couple people. Actually, I did live this morning. I've got a thumb drive. It's shaped like a key, and it lights up, and it's got my logo on it. It's really cool. There's going to be some stretch goals that's going to involve that specific thumb drive. So stay tuned. That's going to be a stretch goal. So anybody that has already backed, you can look forward to that. So hopefully share, get more people to back. We'll be able to hit more of those milestones. And then, of course, release even more of these things for the stretch goals. And then last but not least, this is the absolute last time, Angela, I'm going to be doing any coaching whatsoever. I am literally just trying to walk away from parts of my business that are taking me away from writing fiction. And coaching has been fantastic over the years. It's been about 2 years since I had last taken on any clients. So I'd opened up 5 slots for one-on-one coaching. You get everything in the kitchen sink with that coaching package, like everything.
Yeah.
Swag, the books, the workbook, everything. So, and you also get a 1-hour coaching session with me, which will have a recording that you can go back and watch later, as well as 1 month of unlimited email support, as well as a private Discord channel that you can be able to interact with other clients. Now, here's the funny thing is 4 slots gone. Bye. See ya. Out of here. There's only 1 slot left. And this is not false scarcity. I've told people, like, as soon as it's gone, it's gone. That's it. Bye. It's out of here. I can't do any more than 5. So, and then there's the group coaching as well. Similar to the other one. However, you get a little bit more time with me, but in a group coaching setting. 1 hour per week for throughout a month. You'll have a private Discord channel, replays to each one of the coaching sessions, and direct access to me. So those are part of this campaign. Only 2 of the 15 slots are open, or 2 of the 15 slots has been taken. So that means the entire thing's open. I'm actually going to sit down with a couple of my group coaching clients and see if I can coax them into coming on to a live chat So that way people can kind of understand like the group coaching thing should not be taken lightly, because I've had some heavy hitters. You ever get the opportunity to, Angela, Keith Wheeler Books? He's got a
Yeah.
massive YouTube channel. Monique Joyner Seedlack, she's got a YouTube channel. Two of them make me proud because they serve authors in the self-publishing community. So of course I'm always like beaming with pride whenever I see them just absolutely killing it. I have a number of other people that have been part of the coaching program. So yeah, I'm going to try to work on that. But all that to say that's everything in the kitchen sink. You'll be able to get more details over at dalelinks.com/final3.
Awesome. Well, I'm actually it's one of those things where I'm trying to focus on you, but I'm scrolling through looking at these awards. So
Yes.
No, I'm totally paying attention.
There are some people actually commenting, and I'm sorry, folks, that I haven't acknowledged. I see Matt popped in there. Thomas Bradley, what the heck? My boy. Kevin Hall. I seen Kevin Hall popped in there. How you doing, Kevin? Tanisha, it's great to always see you. I think Tanisha and I actually connected earlier over here on Substack because I had to run a test thing. I was like, let's see if this thing works.
Oh, that's funny. She was on my test too, because I was like, wait a second, I got a new phone since I last did this. Let me make sure everything works.
Nice.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, I think I'm going to go over and look at your group coaching, because I actually prefer group coaching sometimes, because you get the cross interaction with everybody. You know what I mean? And you wind up being a bunch of best friends working together on different projects and co-working together. There's like so many benefits to that. So,
it's so funny. My last group coaching I did in 2020, 2021, somewhere around there is when I did group coaching last. And I had a private channel put aside for them. And up until probably about earlier this year, they were still having full chats. And I think they just eventually just absorbed themselves into the regular Discord chat. So it was almost like, I was like, okay, I could go ahead and remove this one here, since they're all pretty much integrated and chatting with each other. But it's really kind of cool, the camaraderie that you get to see, at least as me as a coach. I know you've coached a number of people yourself as well. That when you see people interact like that, there's a sense of pride that I have. I love that. It's really cool to see people get connected. And by the way, before we do jump off here, I did see Thomas Bradley just comment. So he's alive. He's well. He says he's definitely kicking. But at any rate, I have to introduce you to Thomas. He's a great horror writer. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You must check him out. He's actually been a guest on my channel a couple times. So got to get you introduced to him. He's also one of my beta readers for my horror stuff. So he's the guy who gets to go over and tell me like, that doesn't make sense, Dale.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I am so, I mean, I know you got to go, you're exhausted, but let me just tell you, I am so excited for you to come over to the Horror Fold. Love what you're doing. If anybody loves my books, you can attribute the success of that getting out there to Dale, because you're the channel that I would watch to figure out, how do you do this self-publishing thing? Should self-publishing have a dash in between it or not? I don't know. There's so many rules.
It's supposed to, but for years, guess what? I used to drop it because there's a difference between self-publishing and self-publishing in search. Because when you have that dash in there, algorithms pull out that dash and put it all as one word. So then it's self-publishing rather than self-publishing. So I did it for a number of times, and it was so funny. When I first started on YouTube, I used to get some people that would just get so angry. They're like, there's a dash between self and publishing. I know. Get over yourself.
It's called algorithms and the way it works. I don't get to make all the rules on the internet.
These days, though, I put the dash in there because now I'm just kind of like, okay, I don't really need to tap that much into the search engine algorithms.
Yeah, well, everybody knows who you are, so
look at that.
That is gorgeous.
That's what Book Vault did. That's not part of the Kickstarter campaign. That's actually going to be part of a Book Vault review video. So.
Yeah. Well, I actually just started using Book Vault. I think I've got about 7 books up on there. I've been running through. A little plug for Ally, because you get the free Book Vault. Yeah. So I've been doing my little five books a month with Ally. So definitely worth that membership. So Ally has so many. Here's the funny thing is, in producing this video, if you're in a rush to get off, we can get off. That's totally fine. But if you want to I am not in a rush. Yeah, I want to be respectful of your time, because you're the one with all the work going on right now.
I got about 10 minutes left in me, for sure. I definitely did cut on the hour. So right now I'm working on a video behind the scenes. It's tough because, of course, I'm balancing this Kickstarter and doing everything else in between. So I was going to do a 5-way comparison. Amazon KDP versus Ingram Spark versus Lulu versus Book Vault versus Publish Drive. And I do this because I'm already ordering proof for myself and I just want to see where's the best avenues and such. So it's always
Yeah.
just a curiosity thing for me. Then it realized that Amazon KDP, I did a review last year, I think, on it. Haven't done one on Ingram Spark, hadn't done one on Lulu, hadn't done one on Book Vault, hadn't done one on, I was like, oh my gosh. So this one video project has turned into 5 video projects because I got the Lulu one done. That just fired off on Monday. I'd like to get another one done by Monday, and it will either be Ingram Spark or Publish Drive. I don't know, because Book Vault is going to be a chungus of a video because of them doing this this specialty box set here. That right there. Oh, they did the video. They went into the print, like where they were printing out my book, and this is going to be like a Mr. Rogers Neighborhood episode here, where people are going to get to see how, the magic goes into putting something like this together. So,
very cool.
Yeah, so I got those 5 videos in not enough time. And the funny thing is, I'm still sitting in a collaboration with 2 fantastic YouTubers. One's with Michael Laron. It's called 6 versus 1, where we brought in a group of 7 people. There's supposed to be 7 authors, but one of them is an imposter. And so they actually have to figure this out. We shot this back in March. And unfortunately, it was one of those cases that I got most of it produced, but we have to go back and do some pickup shots. And I need to clean up the very end, so it's got a little bit of a tighter ending. But it's essentially like a game show, and it was a lot of fun to put together, and I can't wait to share that. But that's sitting on my back burner. April Cox, another great YouTuber. She has a channel called Self-Publishing Made Simple. We did a collaboration on A+ content for KDP, and so she actually went through and did a lot and showed how to do it. So cool thing is YouTube just rolled out a new collaborations feature. And so now what you can do is when you're working, let's say you and I, Angela, we decide we're going to go ahead and collaborate over on YouTube. Rather than the video living and dying on one channel or publishing it on both of those and splitting attention, they give you the one asset and then they associate it with different YouTube accounts. And I think they can do up to like 9 or 10 different YouTubers in one collaboration. So here's the cool thing. You're going to get a little bit of a halo effect from, let's say, for instance, if you and I were to do a collaboration, you're going to feel some of that and you're going to get some of that push and some of that recommended traffic. That was one key thing about collaborations before, but now it's more directly integrated within the video rather than separate. So I told Michael, I was like, aren't you glad I'm a procrastinator?
Yeah. And that is so awesome because I turned my YouTube channel, because I'm not a YouTuber, I turned it over to my co-op, the Opportunities Press co-op. So now we're all able to use it. That was my problem, though, is how does that benefit your channel if you post something on the co-op channel? Like, where is the direct benefit? That's amazing.
Collaboration
I love
would
that.
make a huge difference for sure.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever talked to you, Dale, and not walked away going, oh my God, that's amazing. Like, I always learn. And I usually am over here scribbling notes or rewatching, going, okay, what was the name? Because you're amazing. You always.
Thank you. I appreciate it. That's one thing I think all authors need to lean into is their ability to be creative. And this includes nonfiction authors. All right. In fact, I would say I'm more of a stronger nonfiction author than I am a fiction author, but nonetheless, everybody's got creativity is tap into that.
Yeah.
Get creative. There are so many times I run into some authors that complain and they're like, I'm not selling enough books. I'm not successful like I'd like. I didn't become a best-selling author. I didn't get an award. And I'm always just kind of like, well, do something about it. Like, do something about it. Like, the problem. What's the solution? Don't come to telling me and bitching and complaining that like, oh, I didn't sell any books. Well, why didn't you? You need to have that self-awareness to understand, like, where did you get? And okay, now how can you unstick yourself? And I swear to you, every time I say her name, she shows up. I'm going to say it anyways. Susan Montgomery. She is an author based out of Bowling Green, Ohio, sweet as pie. She has a very limited budget. Like, she will tell you straight up, like, she does not have money to throw towards marketing and promotion. So she needs to make it up through creativity and resourcefulness. So she has done many things that has gotten her on PBS twice for an interview. And we're not talking like a 5-minute interview. Like, it was a 20-minute sit down when she just did last.
Wow.
She's worked with other businesses and small businesses in the Bowling Green area. So, for instance, she did a book about a cat cafe that's in Bowling Green. She collaborated with that local cafe. Here's the cool thing. She helped them put together a book. She split on the profits, I believe. Sorry, Susan, if that was incorrect. Split on the profits. They showcased it in their store. They did a book launch party, and the press came in for it.
Yeah.
What? That didn't cost her a dime. All Susan did was
Yeah.
just step out and just, say, hey, let's go ahead and do something like this.
Yeah.
That led her to another opportunity where she worked with a local pet therapy dog. Pet therapy dog, Benny, oh my gosh, adorable, giant Saint Bernard. And just, I just want to hug it. I want to hug it. And I want him to live here. But at any rate, she did a full book about Benny. And so her and the pet therapy dog owner did a little bit of like a few interviews throughout Bowling Green. So they were able to push that book. She's got another one she just launched, I think, or she's getting ready to launch, that's about the Watchtower Falcons. Now, keeping in mind that Bowling Green State University, their mascot is the Falcon. So there are actually falcons in the clock tower that are inside I believe it's on campus. It's been so many years since I've been to Bowling Green.
Yeah.
It's now slipping my mind. But she's putting together, so it's so cool to see her getting her community involved, and she's building this by grassroots, and I've watched her grow, and she shares her successes, not a flex or anything else like that, over on the Discord community. And I think it probably throws her off, but I find her inspirational. I find her motivational to see what she does. And when she's done, she's leveraged her creativity. What she can't be able to get through a budget, she more than compensates for through creativity and resilience. And I think that's something to be commendable. And I think every good author needs to take a note from that. Find some way to be resourceful, resilient, bounce back.
With what you have.
Yeah, absolutely. Use the resources.
Because we all have something.
Yeah. And here's the thing is, yes, having a budget will make life a little easier. I'm not going to lie to you. But for the most part, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's free out there. You can have a free Substack. You can have a YouTube channel. You can have your own website. You can sell direct. There's so many ways that we can kind of think about how do we market and promote what it is that our author brand is, our book, what it is that we have to offer to the world. And again, I fully expected Susan to pop in here, and she probably will come watch the replay knowing her.
Well, and
I've done it a few times in interviews where I'll say, Susan Montgomery, and all of a sudden she pops up in the chat. I'm like,
that's hilarious.
What's going on?
Somebody's got a Google alert up or something, and it hasn't even.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'll just add on to what you're saying about creativity and everything. By the same token, I've worked with a lot of clients who did have budget, threw all that money, and got nothing because they're not using creativity. But having the money is not what makes the success. It's great. I'll definitely take the money if I can, and I'll definitely use it. But it's the creativity that is the root of everything. So there's no excuses for not succeeding. Just think of it. You haven't succeeded yet. You're not there yet. You just have to figure it out just a little more.
Here's the funny thing is some people will look over at me and go, oh, I want to do exactly as Dale. I want some Dale paydays. And I got to tell you that even myself at the level that I'm at, I'm always looking and saying, how can I get better? How can I improve? How can I be able to get up to that next level? So there's never ever like this end goal. Like you're like, hey, I made $10,000. Great. It's time to call it a day. No, you're going to continue to try to push and drive yourself.
Yeah.
And I just really highly recommend, don't think that money is going to solve all your problems. I think that if you can get real creative about how you present your brand or how you display or make your book visible, that's going to be the real game changer. There was a story that just flipped into my mind, and as soon as it slipped right out. I had a great story for you.
Oh, that's awesome. I always love talking to you, Dale. Anytime I will drop everything and have you on and talk to you and promote you, and I'm getting in line to get the Kickstarter. And there are so many people I like in this world, and you're one of my favorites. So,
thank you. And that didn't feel awkward, by the way. Although I'm going to have a word with HR as soon as we get off here for that earlier comment. Yeah.
Yes. So Angela Eureka Smith is attracted to Dale L. Roberts. Hey, as a fellow creator, what the?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Well, this is the perfect note to finish on. Angela, thank you so much for having me on here. This is the
Yeah.
first, by the way. I've never done a co-live stream thing. I live streamed early on Substack, but that don't count. But this is the first time, so thank you for breaking me into here.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thanks for being here. I hardly ever do it because I'm just not that strategic and organized, but this seemed like a great time to do it. And yeah, go check out. I'm going to put all the links for your Kickstarter and all of those things in the description of this when I get to edit it. And best of luck. I totally see you hitting that 100K mark. Not even a problem.
We're hustling. We got it. We got it. So thank you so much.
Awesome.
Take care now.
Yeah. Bye. Oh, and I'm going to say thank you, everybody who joined us. That was awesome. I'm going to get the links added and get this posted.